Hi everyone, welcome to Adventures with Raven and Rowley. I'm Raven and this is Rowley. Last week I talked about living in an RV with a power outage on the West Coast when there was a heat wave. This week I will be talking about the pros and cons of living in a Class A versus the pros and cons of living in a fifth wheel RV full time. If you're curious, please join us on this journey and continue to watch. If all you've known is a sticks and bricks home or an apartment, something that's firmly attached to the ground, but you have been thinking about something with wheels, an RV in particular, recreational vehicle, there are some similarities to a sticks and bricks home, so you don't really need to worry about that kind of thing. Basically, it's about as similar as you can afford, because in some RVs you may have washers and dryers and dishwashers, and in others you won't. So like an apartment, you pay as your money, you get what you get. There are differences between an RV and a sticks and bricks home. For instance, sticks and bricks are usually made with 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x10s, 2x12s, 4x4s. Class A motorhomes and fifth wheels are made with 2x2s or 1x3s or combinations like that. The objective is to keep the building relatively light so they can be pulled somewhere. They're made to withstand. RVs, the recreational vehicle homes, are made to withstand earthquakes because there are ruts in the road, and they shake up everything. And one of the biggest things about the differences between a sticks and bricks and an RV is that it has wheels, possibly an engine, and you as an adult, or you as the owner, have to be responsible for your own human waste. Whereas in a sticks and bricks home, about the best you can say is that you would flush the toilet. Now, you may be the owner and you have to do repairs, or you may be a renter and all you've got to do is flush. The thing about an RV is that it can run on multiple types of power, and usually do. You would have the electricity for the refrigerator and for the air conditioner. Propane can also possibly for the refrigerator and for the stove, if you're into that kind of thing. Gas, if you've got an engine or a generator. Diesel, the same for an engine or a generator. And you would have batteries, usually they call them house batteries, just for the lights and to move the slides in and out. The other thing that you don't have in a sticks and bricks home is a limited supply of water and of power. Now, granted, you may have to pay for that water and that power in a sticks and bricks place, and it is limited in that way, but it's not limited in the volume that you have available to you at any one time if you pay the bill, if you have a bill. There are differences and similarities between a Class A RV and a fifth wheel. You'll notice that the Class A, it looks like a regular city bus or touring bus. The fifth wheel has an overhang. In my case, that overhang is actually my bedroom, and it overhangs the truck bed that has a special contraption for pulling fifth wheels. The travel trailer just has a hitch that hooks onto anything depending upon the size of the travel trailer, anything from an SUV to a truck, I would suppose. Even a small one could be pulled by a regular car. And it is totally flat on the inside. The fifth wheel has a step up, has a bunch of steps up. In my case, 4 steps up to get to the bedroom area that would hang over the top of a truck. Now, when I say Class A, that's an RV with an engine. Usually they're really the big ones, but you can have a Class C, Class B that's smaller. They get smaller and smaller and smaller. You could have a van, whatever, but they all have a motor, and that's basically the thing about them. The Class A is a big beast, and usually has all of the amenities of a house, and can have washers and dryers in them too. It depends upon how much money you want to spend. I put a link in the description of the Georgie Boy Cruise Master that I used to own. Not this particular Cruise Master, but this is the walkthrough of the Class A that I lived in for 2 years. The thing about a Class A, the benefits of a Class A, is that you only got 2 steps, maybe 3 steps to get up into it, and the rest of the vehicle is flat on the inside. The benefits of Class A is security. In a motorhome, you could drive it away if you need to in a hurry. You don't have to get out, you don't have to change your clothes, you don't have to do anything but turn that key and drive. If you're in a fifth wheel, you got to get out and get into the truck, even if it's still hooked together. Because if it's not hooked together, then you've got to hook it together and then get in the truck and drive away. You can't make a fast escape. The negatives, the cons of a Class A is the initial cost. Class A's cost more because of the engine. Usually 2 to 4 times what it would cost for a Class C with the same amenities. They also cost more to insure because of breakdowns, and of course the insurance company is going to provide you with hotels, or maybe you have to come out of pocket for hotels or whatever. So you have to consider that. There are benefits to the fifth wheel. For instance, you don't need 2 vehicles to get around. For instance, if you had a Class A, you might tow a vehicle, usually something small, or bicycles or e-bikes or something, so that you can get around town to see things or do things if you need to or want to. If you've got a fifth wheel, just unhitch, you take the truck, car, SUV, whatever you've got, and go get what you want and come back, leave it there. You don't have to take it with you wherever you go, Whereas in a Class A, it's with you. The ceiling height is higher in a fifth wheel. Another benefit of the fifth wheel is that you generally get them with residential style furniture. Then, of course, there's the cost of maintenance. It costs more for a Class A because of the engine, because everything is a little bit more compact, compactly placed inside of the RV than they are in the fifth wheel. There seems to always be more space in a fifth wheel for some reason. I don't know if it's the floor plans or what, but anyway. And so the cost of maintenance is higher in a Class A. Depreciation. Now, a Class A will depreciate much faster than a fifth wheel. And it's because of the truck that it's sitting on, So, generally, too, fifth wheels have larger kitchens. They have, in the newer ones, they have islands in the kitchen. They give you a lot more prep space. But when the slides are closed, if you have slides, usually they knock right up against those islands, so it makes it difficult getting in and out. So if you're going to buy a fifth wheel that has an island or anything, make sure you can get in and out of it. Get to the bathroom, get to the refrigerator, get to the bed, with the slides all in. Because there's going to be times where you're going to have to stop somewhere and not be able, like a Walmart parking lot, and not be able to put the slides out. So you're going to have access to that, you know. I live in a fifth wheel. My fifth wheel is 26 feet, which just sounds small, but it's not really. It doesn't feel tiny. What can I tell you? I don't have an island, but I do have a cabinet that kind of sticks out so that it creates more prep space. There is one measure, for me anyway, and it may be for you if you're an older senior citizen like I am. Well, a senior citizen like I am. There's the steps. You usually have to have 2-3 steps to get into the building, into the rig. And then inside, there are more steps. Like I have 3 steps to get up to the bathroom and 1 more to get into the bedroom. And and it can be tedious. I have known, at least in the last 2 years, at least 3 people who have fallen down those steps because the landing is so small where the bathroom is. So you might consider that if you're thinking about broken hips and things like that. I would get, under those circumstances, I would not get a fifth wheel. I would get a travel trailer, because they make those pretty much like a fifth wheel, except all on one level, one flat level. So if you haven't purchased a fifth wheel or a travel trailer, but you're kind of torn between the two, get one inside of them. Get inside to see how you fit. If you're new to this market, take someone with you who knows about them, you know, or knows about RVs, or at least carpentry or something, cars. If you're looking at a Class A, get an independent contractor to look at it, because there are independent contractors, there are independent contractors who specialize in looking at recreational vehicles, and they will give you a list of what needs repair, whatever, because an RV in general is a lot of money. It's not as, well, it can be. I was about to say it's not as much as a house, but it can be. Yes, I've seen some that are way over $100,000. And, you know, upwards of $1 million. Of course, I wouldn't buy an RV that costs $1 million. I would say, if you're going to get a Class A, then get a mechanic to look at the truck part of it. Get an independent contractor group who specializes in any type of RV. Read the reviews from the specific RV you're looking at. Read the reviews of the company that you're buying them from. Basically, read the reviews. Make your decisions based on the average. What is the biggest complaint? What is the smallest complaint? That kind of thing. Keep an eye out. And then take some classes, in online classes. I actually learned to drive by looking at YouTube videos. My first RV was a Georgie Boy, 35-foot Class A RV. I'd never in my life ever driven anything remotely as large as that. Not only was that large, but I was also towing a car behind me. I have never towed a car. Okay. This was absolutely incredible. And to really top it all off, I didn't take any of the advice that I'm giving you here. I bought it sight unseen online from a company that was in Georgia, and I lived at that time in New Hampshire. And so to guarantee to myself that the vehicle was worth driving, I asked them to deliver it. So they delivered it, drove it from Georgia to New Hampshire. So I signed off on it. And then I looked at it. It had a cracked windshield. You know, the brakes needed repair. On and on and on, you know. But learning how to drive it, I went onto YouTube because I didn't have a clue. If you can take some personal classes, in-person classes, to teach you how to drive this thing, what to look for when you're going around corners, what to, you know, how to judge how close you are to other vehicles. I got someone to stand outside and right dead smack in the front of from the front of the Class A Georgie boy, back up against the motor, and to walk forward. And when I could see their feet, I told them to stop. And I went outside and looked to walk around to see exactly how much space there was between the front of the Georgie boy and to that person. And they said that the blind spot was 16 feet. Well, in my case, the blind spot was closer to 18 feet. That's almost the length of a car that you cannot see. So when they tell the kids, your school kids, to cross, you know, after the bus is stopped because the driver cannot see you, the driver cannot see you. Absolutely cannot see you. If somebody is crossing in front of you, cutting you short, you can't see them. There is just no way. But that's one of those things that you really should try yourself, because just saying, oh, it's 16 feet in front, is not as shocking as going out and looking at the 16 feet in front of your vehicle. So if you can take a personal class to teach you how to drive, how to back up, how to whatever, because as far as I'm in New Hampshire, and as far as I know any place else, you don't really need anything other than a regular driver's license to drive a 35-foot behemoth pulling 20 feet of car. You know, you're 50 feet rolling down the roads. You know, you need to know when to speed up, when to shift gears, that kind of stuff. Even if you do have an automatic transmission, you need to know these things. So it would behoove you to study first. Now, as for living in a Class A or a fifth wheel, I thought, even though my Class A, the Georgie boy I had two slides, one for the bedroom and one for the living room couch area, the dinette booth and the couch. So it was a pretty big slide, 18 feet, and one for the bedroom, for the bed. That particular RV felt smaller to me on the inside than it does in my 26-foot fifth wheel. The layouts are pretty similar, but for some reason it just seems a lot more open space in the fifth wheel. Now that might be because the ceiling is a lot higher in the fifth wheel than it was in the Class A. As far as I can see, I've got just as many windows and everything, but it just feels larger. It feels more homey to me than the Class A. And I like it a lot. I mean, I don't have a washing machine in here. This rig is 20 years old. But I don't feel that I'm missing anything that I wouldn't in any apartment. It feels more like the fifth wheel feels more like a one bedroom apartment. I have a separate bedroom, separate bathroom, and the rest of the stuff is all in one room. in the Class A, in the rolling rig, it felt tight. I still had one bedroom, but the bathroom was partially in the bedroom. So the shower and the sink, I mean, it was open. You walked right by it. It wasn't in a separate room or anything. It was in the bedroom. The toilet area had like a separate door, but you were in this. It felt like a 2x2 cubicle, and it fortunately had a window, because I think I would have freaked out being locked in a closet, you know. So I can say that I really prefer the fifth wheel to the Class A. Now, as for towing it, I don't. It stays here in the park. It gets moved around every now and then, because we have to move around. But I hire someone to tow that, and you could do the same. I personally don't want to travel the roads with something this big. I mean, it's only 26 feet. Now, you figure that the Class A I was driving was 35 feet. Basically the same size on the inside. But I don't want to tow anything this big. I prefer to refurbish my cargo trailer and go play with that and tow that. And I don't see any reason to carry around all my stuff. So just keep some of it here, you know. Oh. Now, on to the Rowley report. Rowley is doing great. Rowley is still barking at people when they come up to me, but if they put the hand out, then he kind of tentatively goes up and barely touches them to sniff the hand. So he's becoming much more socialized, and he's crazy. You know, it's crazy. Yeah, he's a good dog. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Please like and share my videos and subscribe to Adventures with Raven and Rowley if you haven't already done so. You are appreciated. I'll see you next Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Okay, stay safe, take care of you and yours, and blessed be.